Welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Sean Anderson for Ponca City Public Schools. And on this edition, we're going to chat with the head coach of the Ponca City Wildcat football team, Coach Scott Harmon. The Wildcats are still in the running for the playoffs. We'll ask Coach Harmon about the scenario that can get the Wildcats into the playoffs in the postseason. Now, there's one game left, and we're talking Sapulpa, Sullins Stadium, senior night. A lot of seniors on the squad. But before we get before we get to all of that, let's chat with Scott Harmon about Tulsa, Washington. Tough game. It was a tough loss for the Wildcats, but your team fought hard. They put some points on the board. You got to be proud of for that effort.
Yeah, we're down early. They got on us a little bit early. Had a couple of big plays there, big runs, and kind of got up on us early. We had a chance to kick a long field goal at the end of the first half, barely missed that. So when we came back out in the second half, we challenged our kids, naturally like we always do to win the second half, and we were actually able to do that. 14-13 in the second half. So against Booker T, we're trying to put two halves together. Last year, we kind of won the first half and snuck up on them a little bit. This year, we didn't sneak up on them, but we were able to score 14 points in the third quarter and make it quite an exciting ball game going down the stretch.
Yeah, it certainly was. And that, winning the second half, what was it in that locker room at halftime? What did you say? I mean, how you make those adjustments and you have that halftime locker room speech, or do you? What does that look like?
Well, we try to remain as consistent as possible. When we go in, we meet as a staff right when we get in, and we'll talk a little bit about some adjustments that we can make. We'll split up and get with our groups, and we made an adjustment. They were really kind of getting after our regular and tight end personnel set, so we went to more of a spread look with our young kid, Cameron Jackson, at the tailback, and he ended up having a very good third quarter and rushing for about 70 yards. So we were really proud of the adjustments we made. We just need to kind of finish off that fourth quarter. We had a drive which enabled us to kind of score some points that would have helped us this week with our district points that we didn't finish. So there are some positives and some negatives that we can play off in the second half there.
Yeah, some players, individual performances, players you want to give some kudos to.
Yeah, I thought Justin probably handled the rest, their speed rush pretty well in the second half. He eluded some pass rushers and got the ball off a little bit. I thought Lennox Sun Eagle played really well defensively. I think Cameron Jackson ran the ball effectively, and we did some things that were positive. We just got to put some more drives together and keep that game closer for down the stretch.
Yeah, well, Sapulpa is coming to town this Friday night. It is senior night, and a lot of seniors. Before we talk about that, let's talk about Sapulpa. What kind of Sapulpa team are we seeing coming into town Friday?
They're banged up. They've got 2 or 3 Division I kids. One of their quarterback, their natural starting quarterback, is signed with TCU. They've got another running back in there that's been banged up that is highly recruited. So they've got some really good kids that have been injured the last 2 or 3 weeks. We're not for sure if they'll be back for us or not, if they're trying to save them for the first round of the playoffs if they happen to get in. So it's kind of a do or die situation. So we anticipate those kids playing. Their record is very similar to ours. There's a lot of the scores that they've, and our opponents are very similar. So we anticipate a close kind of nail biter, and hopefully we pull one out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, 23 seniors. It's a lot of seniors on your team. And senior night, always a special night.
Right. I'm really close to this bunch. Of course, they were juniors when I first got here. A lot of them play considerable amounts. They've put in 2 years of really unselfishness and a lot of hard work and kind of blood, sweat, and tears, so to speak, for this night, an opportunity to get in the playoffs and put our program in that position where we can get to 500 and maybe slide in the playoff round. So really proud of this senior group. It'll be an emotional night for us, and I'm sure we'll play hard.
Yeah, absolutely. And senior night as a player, I'm going to take you back at least 20 years?
Well, more
at
than
least.
that. I wish it was 20.
Take you back to your high school senior nights and your college career when you knew that was going to be your last game. I mean, and I ask you that because I'm curious how that emotion can translate to positive things on the field, or does it?
It's very emotional and it's very finite for a lot of kids. Fortunately, I was offered a scholarship in my junior year, so I kind of knew that after my senior year in high school, I was
You're
still
still
going to
going
be
to
playing
play.
some football. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And a lot of those kids don't have that security blanket yet, and a lot of them, just quite frankly, this will be the last football game they ever play. So we preach to them all the time about how quick this senior year goes and how how much they'll miss it, but the kids really kind of they don't understand until it hits them, and
Yeah.
then you'll see some emotional kids and you'll see some emotional parents
Yeah.
when that realization that this is the final game that they may ever play
Yeah.
hits them. It's a kind of unique experience.
Yeah. In your coaching career, have you witnessed that inspire performances on that senior night?
Oh, without a doubt. We've had some big games, you know, week 10. This is another big game where you got a lot riding on the line. So, not only, what's riding on the game, but the emotions of it may be in your last game and the last time you ever
Yeah.
suit up as a football player and all the time and effort you've put into that. It's quite an emotional night.
Yeah. Well, as a broadcaster, I don't completely understand all of the scenarios that make a playoff run happen. But I know Jordan Woodruff does, and he's given me the rundown personally. You want to tune in on Friday night, of course. The senior night game with Sapulpa from Sullins Stadium will be on 100.7 FM KPNC with a live video stream, broadcast audio at punkcitynow.com. Jordan has it figured out. I mean, he's got it figured out every which way, but he's not here to explain that. So I ask you, how can the Wildcats get into the postseason?
There are two different scenarios in which we can get in, both of them entail us beating Sapulpa, of course, here week
Yeah.
10. If Shawnee goes to Bartlesville and beats Bartlesville, all we have to do is win.
Okay.
And if Bartlesville beats Shawnee at home, which we anticipate them doing, to be quite honest with you, we're going to have to beat Sapulpa by 9 points to get in a three-way tie.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay. Now, a three-way tie.
Right, for fourth place, and it would be between us, Bartlesville, and Sapulpa, and would kind of come down to district points. And right now, we're trailing by, I believe it's 20. No, it's 17 points, so we would have to win by 9.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, there you go. That's it. And, that doesn't sound too impossible at all.
No, well, I told our kids this morning that I will always expect to win, especially at home,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't shock me a bit to win it all by 9 or 10 points, and for us to sneak in the playoffs.
That would be fantastic. Well, we can't wait to chat with Coach Harmon some more, and we appreciate him being with us on this edition of Coach's Corner. That is going to do it. Our thoughts and prayers, by the way, with Heather Harris. She was unable to be with us here. She was in a little bit of a car accident. She's okay, but she unable to be on this edition of Coach's Corner, and she'll be back with us soon. And we'll be talking Pohai swimming in not long. That's going to do it for this edition of Coach's Corner. Until next time, thank you for watching.